What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to do a comparison of the MP-29 Shockwave, otherwise known as Destron Laser Wave, versus the MP-29 Plus anime accurate version of Shockwave. You can see the boxes are a little bit different. This one's laid out vertically and the new one is laid out horizontally. And then they're also touting this award they got, the Long Life Design. They're now putting that on every box, every chance they get. And then you got the Transformers 35th anniversary logo there. So pretty nice, pretty similar, not too much difference. The other two sides are the same, and then on the back they've kind of reproduced a lot of the images, and they even reproduced this shot with Soundwave and Starscream, so you have that same exact setup. Some different shots here, but all intents and purposes the same. You also get this coin, so this is the die-cast coin, MP-29 Plus. I don't collect these, so I probably won't keep this, but you get that as well. You also get instruction manuals and collector's cards for both of these. They're exactly the same, so we're not going to take a look at that. But let's get these guys out and take a look at the figures. As always, we'll start off with the accessories here, and you do get a very similar set of accessories between the two, pretty darn close. I'm not going to count the coin as an accessory. That's more like packaging, because it doesn't really work with the figure. It's just an extra thing you get. So like we always do, we're going to kind of show what are the same and eliminate that stuff, and then whatever's left is kind of, and so you can see you're pretty much the same. There are some differences here in these guns. So you can see obviously painted with the new dark color there. There you go. And they also replaced this little rope piece right here with kind of a plastic tubing. I sort of liked the rope, I don't know, but both of them look pretty good, but same thing on both ends. They both get a clear left arm for shooting, but they're essentially identical, so I'll put those off to the side. They both get a clear hand for the... let's see, these two are the same. So they both get a left hand. They both get a solid right hand, although the colors are different. You can see there's a little bit darker. This is definitely more cartoon accurate. But anyway, they both get it. They both get a saluting hand, solid plastic. And they both get a clear saluting hand, solid translucent plastic. So only thing you're left with is this clear right hand. So you can replace this. That's literally the only accessory you get more. So we're going to give accessories to the 29 Plus, but I will argue that it's very, 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 very much the same. You're really not getting a lot of extra there. So there you have accessories. You have the figures, and a lot of stuff is the same, so I'm not going to waste time going over it. So pretty much all of the engineering, the transformation, and the build is exactly the same. So we're not going to include that in this review, just like we usually do. Those will all be ties. But I do want to show the articulation, even though it is the same. It's exactly the same. I want to talk about how it articulates. So the head is on a ball joint, so you get a little bit of side to side. It does rotate all the way around. You get up to there. Get a lot of movement on this. It gets down to there, and then there's an extra joint on the bottom of the neck, so you can get it sort of lifted up, off, and then you can look down a little bit more. So really nice articulation there. Again, these are all the same on both. Rotation all the way around. You get the shoulder joint there, and then you get an outer shoulder joint, so you can really get it high up. This is a very nicely articulated Takara figure. You get a rotation at the bicep. Single jointed elbow gets you up to there. Rotation at the wrist. Single pinned wrist gets you just that one joint there. You can use some of the different hands to get a little bit more articulation. For example, these are on a ball joint, so you can kind of get it all different directions. If you pull up on the waist, it unlocks this joint here, and then you get a rotation at the waist. You also get ab crunch, so you get back to there. And it's not holding the forward one, but there is a forward ab crunch here. I don't know how to get it to give it to me. Give me that forward crunch. Let's see if this one does it. Pull up. Yeah. This one does the same thing. It kind of lets go. So I don't know. That joint was never really the best. This is one of those frustrations. I'll talk about that a little bit later. All right, continuing on, you do have hip skirts here on the front and back, so you get all the way to there on a ratcheted joint. You get a friction joint out to there, nice and tight this time instead of being loose. That was one of my irritations. Rotation at the thigh. Single jointed knee, pretty limited because of this piece here. It doesn't really go anymore. So you get up to there. Ankle tilt all the way out to there. And then ankle pivot this way. And then this panel tends to pop out. This one's a little bit better on the new one. In terms of holding together, it does feel a little bit stronger, a little bit more secure. But they have the same design flaw. They haven't fixed anything. They haven't changed anything. Like sometimes we see on KOs, they fix some of that stuff. On this one, I haven't seen them fix any of that. So that's really for articulation. They're both exactly the same. I just wanted to show you what you get. So we're going to talk about paint next. So paint is where the big difference is in this entire figure, right? You get a lot more painted parts. And we're going to put the G1 image right here in the middle so you can kind of take a look and see how they match up. For me personally, my eyes and my taste, the MP-29 Plus fits a lot closer with the cartoon. And it has the right shade and the right look to it. Another thing that's a little bit different is you look at the eye. So the eye on the MP-29 Plus is a little bit smaller. You can see that it's a smaller, light piped piece. They're both light piped actually. That was one of the advertisements they had on TF Source and on BBTS. They noted that the eyes and chest light up. They do not light up. That was a misprint or misadvertisement. I don't know whose fault it was, but maybe Takara claimed it, and then later when it came out, it wasn't true. But they both have the same light up features. Both hands light up. I don't know if I have the batteries in there, but there's the button right there. And then same on this one. You got the button on the side and it lights up. So no change to the light up features. They're exactly the same. So gimmicks wise, it's all the same. So we don't need to talk or worry about that. But I do want to talk about the paint. So this thing is pretty much painted all the way around. So every part that you see, the purple parts are painted. When we get to the gun mode, we'll show you a little bit more that's painted. But also the ears here are painted. The sides of the legs, and the old one was also painted on the side of the legs, but the new one as well is painted on the side of the legs. It's a little bit darker, less purplish, more grayish, which I think fits the cartoon a lot better. The feet are die cast and are painted just like this one. So other than these legs and feet, all the rest of the body having this paint, it really does make a difference. It stands out and it looks like, it kind of pops on the shelf with that purple color. So we're going to give paint to MP-29 Plus, kind of obvious. But I also like this. I think that face, because it's got that black background instead of the purple, that just looks a lot better. It ends up translating a little bit better, and the eye looks a little bit better against that background. This does look a little bit big compared to the cartoon. I think that's why they made it a little bit smaller. It would have been nice if they had a light up feature, kind of like the fans' toys, but it doesn't. So that's really it for paint. We're going to get these guys into their alt modes, and we'll take a look at those. And here we have the figures in their alt modes. And this is where the paint really shines, figuratively and literally. So you can kind of see the difference here, where you've got just this, the color really stands out, and it actually shows up. This is kind of muted. So the purple's a little muted. The front, where this is kind of silverish purple, that's kind of muted. Whereas this one's got that silver paint on it. And it just looks really nice, especially the contrast with this purple. That darker gray with the darker purple, it really looks good. And then the matchup between the colors is very well done. They both have painted die-cast piece here. So that die-cast piece that runs down and holds this piece together. Those are both painted. This one's the light purple, this one's dark purple. But other than that, that's the only piece that's painted on the original. Everything else is plastic. And it really shows. I mean, that difference really stands out. The fact that it's not painted there. So all in all, the exact same features, by the way. There's nothing new. It lights up the exact same way. You pull the trigger. So here's a trigger. You pull that trigger and it lights up. And that is exactly the same on this one, just to prove the point. There you go. And I forgot about this, but there's a little switch here on the side. So if you hit that switch, and then you hit the trigger again, now you got, it only goes on when you hit the trigger, instead of that pulsing action. I totally forgot about that until I got this guy. So again, same features. They both have this spring-like hose here. And I actually prefer the color on this one, but they're both the same. They're both the same material, that same metal spring, painted to match. This is also painted to match. I just think that the purple looks a lot nicer on the dark purple. So that's really it for the alt mode. We'll put the G1 image down there if we haven't already. And for me, this one just fits a lot better with the cartoon. In terms of the look. All right, so that's really it for the alt mode. Let's get into costs, and then we'll talk about final thoughts. So for the price on these, they're quite a bit different. So the original is $160 retail, and the 29 Plus version is $210 retail. That's quite a bit difference for paint. So the original is going to get the cost factor. So final thoughts, one is you can see the score. The Plus version comes out on top. But that doesn't really tell the whole story. So the cost, you know, these aren't weighted factors, so I just have them all equal there. But honestly, for $50 more, I don't think people are going to want to spend that kind of money just to get the paint. Me personally, I really prefer this color, and I really prefer the painted figure over the unpainted figure. But a lot of people, that $50, that's not going to be enough to justify the difference. Another thing that's sort of an irritation on the BBTS and TF Source website, it lists these with some other features like a light up chest and a light up head. It doesn't have those features. I knew that going in, so I wasn't expecting it. But if you purchase this and you're expecting that and you get it and doesn't have it, that's going to be a big disappointment, especially when you paid $50 over the original release. So can I recommend this? No, I don't recommend the Plus version over the original. I really can't see a justification for the $50 increase. But for me personally, I enjoy the color and I enjoy the tune accuracy there. So I'm going to stick with this one. But it's really up to you and your preferences. What do you like better? What kind of look do you like? What kind of color do you like? Are you willing to pay that $50 increase? By the way, I got this from Nate's Toys and Collectibles. His link is in the description below. You saw his logo up front, in the front of the video. And I'm working with him. He's one of my sponsors in addition to Toy Dojo. Really friendly guy, really good prices. Check out his store on Facebook. Highly recommend him. Good guy to do business with. He found this for me for $200. Actually, it's also available on BBTS for $200. But I just like to work with the local, smaller stores if I can. All right, so that's really it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.